What's up guys, Kyle Chris bringing you guys another Dragon Ball Super video here today. Another deck breakdown, and today we're going to be going over the set 17 Son Goku. I've called him Unison-Ku. I don't know, I'm running out of Ku names. They keep making too many Son Goku leaders. But this is Yardrat Goku. Probably one of the coolest outfits in Dragon Ball that Goku's ever had. I think this is really cool, right? Like, I love the Goku black look. Like that, like took like Goku's like, hey, let's make him really edgy, right? But this outfit that the Yardrats wear, it's really cool. Also, just one of the, obviously part of just the best saga in Dragon Ball, which is the Android Cell arc. So before we get into the video, make sure you guys like and subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Let me know what you guys think of the deck. Let me know what you guys think of the set. I'm very interested to see how this leader is going to perform. I don't think this leader is amazing. Right, I'm just going to put out there disclaimer. I talked about it a little bit in the reveal video. I think a deck that uses so many unisons, there are ways to combo with them in this deck, essentially, and that's fine, but it's not super consistent, right? So it can be a little clunky at times, and I think that's what could be the deck's downfall. However, the deck can do a lot of very interesting things, and we are going to talk about that here in the video. So, auto, add one card from your life to your hand when this card attacks. Search up the top 5 cards of your deck, and play up to one yellow unison with a specific cost of 1 among them, with a marker on it in rest mode, and then shuffle your deck. And then activate your Awaken. When you have 4 life or less, you may restand 1, draw 1, and flip over. I think it's a little strange how all the leaders now are getting early Awaken effects, yet this leader is just 4 life or less. So I think that's very interesting. Felt like they could have, I don't know, give him some sort of awaken condition early, but I think that's also one of the downfalls of this deck is you have to awaken at 4 life. Now, second side, Super Saiyan Son Goku Fearless Fighter. Auto, once per turn when this card attacks, you draw 1 card. Then play up to 1 yellow unison with a specific cost of 1 from your hand with a marker on it in rest mode. Activate main once per turn. For 2 yellow, place up to 8 yellow unisons from your drop area at the bottom of your deck in any order. Switch this card to active mode. This card gets 10k and double strike for the turn. Now, thankfully, they made this an activate main and not an activate main in battle, because then this would have been incredibly difficult to kill. It gives you some Surge-Ku vibes from back in the day when you can just get a free 10k for the turn. It was absolutely disgusting. Now, it does have an activate battle on your opponent's turn once per turn, Spirit Boost X. If it's your opponent's turn, for each marker you remove using the skill, this card gets 5k for the battle. Essentially just allowing you to combo a few extra, 5 to 15k, depending on how many markers you take off. So that way you have a very good defensive turn. Now, this leader is definitely, it's going to be one of the more complicated leaders to play, I think, at the start, because you do have to play it solely around unisons. But we're going to go here into the deck breakdown, and I'm going to show you guys what I came up with. Alright, so here's the deck that I came up with. We're at 52 cards, I believe, right? 52 cards here. And I think this, like I said, again, I think this leader is very interesting. I think there are some cool things that this deck can do. However, having to run so many unisons, it does kind of feel kind of bad, right? So, kind of just sifting through the good yellow cards. This is what I came up with. Obviously no playtesting, of course, but I just wanted to see kind of what we could kind of muster up here. So we have all of the Z Fighter 1-drop unisons here, which we have quite a bit. As you see here, we have a total of 12 1-drop unisons. That's a lot of unisons, right? Not to mention the 4 Super Saiyan 2 Z Fighter unisons that we run. Now, this one can be cut probably down to 2 or 3. But I just wanted to run 4 in here just for consistency purposes. So we have Piccolo here. All of these unisons also have Empower Yellow 2, as you can see, which means that you can take up to 2 markers from another card, and they all have, when this card is played with 3 markers or more on it, they all have a different effect on them. So, start here with Piccolo. Piccolo, auto limit 1, this card is played with 3 more markers, you draw a card, and then activate main, this card gets 10k for the turn. So this card can go up to, basically you pump it up to 2, and then you can play another card from your hand, right? So we have Super Saiyan Vegeta Z Fighter. When this card is played with 3 more markers on it. If this card has 3 more markers on it, when this card is played, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards that cost a 4 or less in rest mode. KO it, this card gets 5k for the turn. Auto, when this card is placed in the drop area from your Unison area, you draw a card, and then +1, this card gets 6k for the turn. Now this is probably one of the best cards to play turn 1. Essentially, you can play this off of your leader swing. You you draw a card, right? You draw a card, and then you search top 5, right? Yep. So, well, on this side, you take a life, you search top 5, and then you play a Unison out, right? So, in this sense, you would play out Vegeta. You would take a life. This you would plus up to 2, and then you would cycle in the Piccolo here. When you play Piccolo, because you would have 3 markers on it now, because you would empower 2 from the Vegeta. You would draw an extra card, and you plus this up, and you go up to 4 markers. Essentially, as well, because you're putting this card in the drop area from the Unison area, you would draw another card. So you would be drawing 3 cards for 1 energy, and that's very powerful. Also, being able to establish a Unison with 4 markers on a turn 1 is pretty good, even though it is a 5k. So that's probably one of the best combos that you can do. Now we'll check out the Yamcha and the Tien. We ran 2 of each of these just because, just having more of the 1-drop Unisons. And when this card is played with 3 markers or more, you choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards, switch in the rest mode. That's pretty good. Again, probably not something you're gonna want to play turn 1, but you can play it. +1, this card gets 10k for the turn, and then +0, this card draws you a card. So you can essentially draw another card on this if you like to as well. Second one is going to be Tien, and Tien, when it's played, you choose one of your opponent's Unisons and put it in rest mode. Again, very good. Activate main, choose one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, and it cannot be switched to active mode until the end of their next turn. Very, very good. And this is the first one that actually has a minus effect on it, which is choose one of your opponent's leaders in rest mode, and it cannot attack until the end of their next turn. Again, very cool because you're going to be using the Empower effect quite a bit. So being able to use this to tap down a Unison, and then you can activate main and just -3, and then just stop their leader from being able to attack. It's a pretty good defensive stuff. So this is kind of your Unison package here. Now we have the big boy Unison, which I would have added the SPR, which looks fantastic, by the way, but it's just not on Deck Planet yet. Empower 3, blocker. If this card has 4 markers on it when it's played, choose up to X of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier, where X is equal to the number of yellow Unisons in your drop area, and KO them. So when this card is played, if you have 4 Unisons in your drop area, you can choose 4 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier, and KO all of them. That is incredibly powerful. +1, draw 1. All right, you have a 20k blocker that draws you a card, and then -3, choose up to one of your leaders. This card and the chosen card get 5k till the end of your opponent's next turn. This card gets triple attack for the turn. Another very, very good effect, right? So there's a lot of good from this particular Unison. Definitely something to consider. I would love to see like how the interaction of this deck is going to really work. Now, one big problem with this deck is because you essentially have to run more Unisons. You can't really fill your deck with too many extra cards. So cards like Mecha Freezer, Robotic Riposte, and Steadfast really become very difficult to use in this deck. However, of course, Yellow always gets one of these type of cards in every set, thanks to Bandai. They just love Yellow. They gave him Super Saiyan Son Goku Final Sacrifice. So this is a 3-drop 15k. Counterattack, negate the attack with this card in rest mode. If you have a yellow Unison in play, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 1. 2-1, but it's by 2. Auto. Spirit Boost 1, place this card in the owner's drop area. When this card is played, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, switch it to rest mode. Additionally, if the card was chosen has 5k or less, KO it, then draw a card. So you can negate an attack, tap down another card, kill a card, and draw a card. Obviously, the auto, this is the part where you can actually counterplay the card. So I don't think the card is going to be as insanely powerful as people think it is, because this is like when Oceanus came out, right? Like Oceanus Negate is one of the most powerful cards in the game right now. However, the auto effect can't go off if it gets counterplayed. So the same kind of thing with this. If you just counterplay it, it's fine, right? For 1 energy though, it's still pretty difficult to deal with, right? So yeah, it's pretty powerful. Now I do think, so you may have to activate the Spirit Boost on this because it would go into pending. So I'm not really sure about that. The reason why I'm saying that is because if your opponent counters, I think you still may have to Spirit Boost. You may not actually have to because the auto would never actually come into effect. So I'm sure someone in the comments will let me know about that. We have Son Goku Inherited Will. This is a 15k barrier, limit 1 for 1 yellow. If your leader is a yellow Son Goku and one of your yellow Unisons is placed in your drop area, play this card from your hand. Activate battle, place, discard 1 yellow unison from your hand, choose up to one of your yellow leaders or unison, then it gets 5k for the battle. What this card essentially allows you to do, allows you to free combo a unison from your hand, essentially giving your unisons combo power, which is pretty cool. It's once per turn, so it is what it is, but it's not limited. So if you play one of these on your turn and one of these on your opponent's turn, you can then essentially combo 10k worth of unisons from your hand. It's a very powerful effect, definitely a card to run. Thankfully it has barrier, so it at least has some defense. But this is the card you're going to need to have on board in order for your deck to be somewhat successful, right? You're just going to have it on board. If you don't, it's just all of these cards are just going to be dead. The other one is Super Saiyan Trunks Super Warrior. This is a blocker, has the same effect as the Gohan, where you can play it out for 1. Auto Spirit Boost when this card is played, choose one of your opponent's battle cards or rest mode and KO it. So like if your opponent swings a leader, like I don't know, they swing a battle card at a unison, they kill it, then you can play this. And then as long as that card doesn't restand, they can use this to actually KO that card, which is pretty cool. So that kind of does it for all of the new archetype stuff here. So everything else is just kind of filler, just kind of adding utility to the deck. 2 Turles, all too easy, just a all too easy of a card to add, right? 2 energies, just being able to pop something and draw something, have a 20k double strike on board. It's very, very good, especially since this deck doesn't play a ton of battle cards. Having something like this where you can pressure on board and have board removal is very, very good. Of course, we're going to be running Black Kamehameha and the Power Super Saiyan combo. This card is incredibly powerful in this deck since really our energy is not really being used for a lot of stuff, so we're going to have energy open on defense. Being able to tap stuff down and draw, just cycle through a deck, is going to be incredibly powerful. And of course, Power Super Saiyan, because we know how good that card is. 2 Poutines, just to make sure that we see it. You play one of these, you're kind of safe for most of the game, and also we are running Vegeta Prideful Transformation. It's time for this card to finally get its usage, I feel like, in this deck, which is going to be able to, the card being played is going to be tapped down, and if your unison has 2 more markers on it, you can play this card for free. You just can't activate counter skills from your hand with counterplay skills from your hand for the game. For the turn, sorry. But this is going to be very, very good. Basically, this card's going to be live on your first attack turn. So if they try to thwarting or whatever else, you can just tap it down and they don't get the effect off of it, right? Swift Retaliation, Cooler, Krillin Super Combo, these are cards that most yellow decks are going to be running. The Super Combo that came in the set's not nearly as good as this, so you're just going to run this. We have the 1 Further Destruction Champa for defense, 1 Bergamo, it's all pretty normal stuff here. 2 Frieza Army Reinforcements for your defensive stuff. And then your boss monsters here, you have 2 of the Return of the Dragon Fists, which are obviously an incredibly powerful card. We run a unison with Spirit Boost effects, it's going to be very, very good. 1 Divine Transformation just for turn 5 stuff if we need to reset the board, play out a big defensive guy. This is really good against blue, which is generally once you go late game against blue, it becomes very difficult to deal with. And then we have 1 Super 17 Sibling Absorbed. This is your unison. This is not your unison, but this is your secret of choice. The Mirror Unison also is very, very powerful as well, and I think would actually probably be better in this deck. But this is very good defensive target as well because it's not really used a lot. It's a 40k deflect crit that comes out for 1 energy if your opponent has 3 or more energy. And the card that's being played has its skills negated. And you can choose a card ignoring barrier in rest mode and then absorb it, which is pretty cool, right? So you can actually kind of take away 2 cards. It's a 40k deflect crit, and because of the deflect, I don't think the card may not. I mean, the card can't be counterplayed. I think the card can still be countered. I believe so. So you can still counter this card, but the fact that it comes in for 1 energy as a defensive card is incredibly powerful. And then being a 40k crit, it's gonna do some damage here. So this is a very interesting deck. Like I said, I don't think the deck is amazing, but I do think, especially if we get some sort of TP where maybe we can combo with these cards a little bit easier than this Gohan. Maybe like if we combo it from our hand, we can then combo, kind of like the Android 18 card that lets you combo extra cards from your hand, and that card gains like 6k power, like 6k combo power. That would be a very cool card for them to add. If they add that, this deck becomes way better, because then you would just take out these, you would just slot in 4 of those, and now you're good, because now you can just combo them from your hand, and you don't have to pay the energy to actually play this guy out. So if we get a card like that, that'll be really, really funny, and we'll review that, of course, once we get to that point. But this is what I have for you guys today for the Yardrat Son Goku. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, Let me know what you guys think of the deck, and thank you guys for always for the support, and I will see you guys in the next video.